some people turned into motivational speakers and came to my DM. They were like, Sally, don't worry, everything will be fine. As if I had failed in life. They thought me going into the college of education was like I didn't get the university of my choice or I didn't pass my exam. I think it's about time Ghanaians to appreciate teaching because it is a very, very, very good job. If you have the passion for it, I feel it is very good because look at somebody who comes to school, the person cannot even write anything. The teacher will guide this child to write from letters to words to sentences to a whole passage. It is not easy. There I saw some girls, they were Muslims. Yeah, they were Muslims, and one told me something. She said after school, her mother will be giving her hand in marriage. When she said that, I thought it was just a joke because you see, when you go to class and you're asking them, "Oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?" Some of them will just be saying some funny stuff. Meanwhile, they don't mean them actually. So I invited her over to my house one day and I spoke to her. I asked her about it and she was like, "Yes." The same thing happened to her elder sister.
That the world is changing. The
Yeah.
world is changing. The method of teaching you learned in 1990 is not the same thing you are supposed to use in 2025. You get it? So we have to also upgrade ourselves as teachers. We have some teachers who completed school in 1990, 1999, 2005, and they're still in the field and they don't want to upgrade themselves. Meanwhile, the world is also changing.
Hello, my name is Miriam. In this 5-part career series, I sit down with Ghanaians living in Ghana who are in various fields, different professions, to discuss the realities of being a professional in Ghana. My guest name today is Sally Frimpong. She is a teacher. But not only is she a teacher in Ghana, but she chose to teach at an Islamic school in Cape Coast where resources are few in that specific school and where the community around that school is a little bit more conservative. So she will share with us her journey as to why she chose to be a teacher and how it is to be teaching at a remote school in Ghana, a remote area, a remote school in Ghana. I couldn't do this series without bringing in a teacher. Teachers in Ghana are often underrated and their profession is often overlooked. So let's break the taboo today and listen to Sally's story. See you at the end. Quick heads up before we start. So my audio sounds a little muffled in the middle, but it clears up. Also, my guest switches from phone to laptop partway through the interview due to some tech issues. Thanks for staying with us. It's a great conversation. Hello, Sally. Welcome to my
Hello.
channel. I'm so happy to have you here.
Hi.
How would you introduce yourself? Because I introduced you a little bit. I did the introduction before the interview, but I love for my guests to use their own words to describe themselves. So how would you describe yourself and where were you born? Where do you live now? And all of that.
All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Sally Frimpong. I'm a Ghanaian, a professional teacher. I was born in Kumasi, but I stayed in Atibugu with my parents. Currently, I'm in Cape Coast, serving the country as a teacher, as I already said. So that is basically me. Cape
Did you
Coast.
move to Cape Coast from Atebubu because of your job as a
Yes,
teacher? Wow,
yes.
that's a big sacrifice. How long was that?
About a year ago.
Was it scary to move to a new place? Because you never lived in Cape Coast before.
Yes, it was. It was. You know, in Ghana, when you hear Cape Coast, the thoughts that comes in mind is a very expensive place. Yeah, a very expensive place. So a young lady hoping to start life,
Yeah.
and I'm supposed to move to Cape Coast. It was serious for me. But then I had to come. Like I've made myself comfortable around here, and I think everybody who wants to come here can also come. Yeah.
Well, you're doing
So
well. Big girl pants.
yeah.
You're doing well. Okay, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, let's get into the deep side of things.
All right.
I just want to know, like, of course, everybody knows that you're a teacher because it's in the title and everything. But like now there are so many different terms that or ways that teachers use to refer to themselves. Some say that they are educators, instructors, education coach. What about you? Do you feel that do you love being called a teacher? Do you carry as a sense of pride, or do you like to use other terms to refer to your profession?
Oh yeah, I'm very, very proud to be called a teacher. And I think the different terms most of these people use is because when we talk about teaching is imparting knowledge into somebody who knows nothing. You get it? So if I come to you and I'm imparting knowledge, the kind of knowledge I'm imparting, you may not have any idea about that. But recently, research has shown that teaching is done everywhere. So if I go to school and I meet somebody who is helping me to learn, that job is not referred to solely as teaching, but we can say facilitation because we believe that the child coming to school has pre-existing knowledge. Yes. So if the child comes to school and I'm teaching, I will use guided questions to guide the child to bring out his or her knowledge. So we call that one facilitation. So basically, teaching and facilitation, they go hand in hand. But I think the right term we can use in our modern world is either the educator, as I said, or the facilitator. But I'm always proud to be addressed as any of these.
Yeah, so you see your job as bringing out what your students already have rather than them doing nothing and teaching them. You feel like every child like already knows a lot before starting school, so you're just kind of helping bring out their talent.
Yeah, I think so. No child is a tabula rasa. Child
No
is not
child is
blank.
what?
A tabula rasa. Yeah, it's a term in education. So no child is born with their mind so blank like a sheet.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Other than that, they will not be able to even acquire language. You get it? You don't teach the child what to speak, but you see, along the line, the child will start picking up. So that is my belief when it comes to educating individuals.
Anyway, I want to give a lot of credit to teachers because teachers do a lot to teach. So I want to give you credit. So yeah, even though you're very humble. So I want to know, Sally, what was your reason? What is your reason for being here? Because you were so enthusiastic when I, spoke to you about the projects. Like we're waiting for this time to kind of share your story. So I just want to know, like, why is it important for you to be here?
I felt very, very, very good. And I noticed that this is a great opportunity to speak to people who may be going through a lot. I think getting platforms like this is an opportunity to come out and encourage people looking at your own path because it is not so easy. Some of us, we had people talking to us, and I think that encouraged us to come where we are. So I feel it is an opportunity, and I had to hop on it so that I can talk to my brothers and sisters who are also looking out in their life. So basically, I had an encounter with some people some years back, and that really prompted me that, in fact, whatever I do, whatever I say, the words I say, the stories I give, really, really, really goes a long way to help people. I had opportunity to visit some senior high schools, and after the meeting, it was a mentorship program. They came to me and they were like, "Oh, they want to be like me." I was like, "Oh, okay. Wow, somebody wants to be like me." I told them how I started, and they were like, "Oh, I think I can also do that." So whenever I get this kind of opportunity, I don't let it slide.
That opportunity that you had to speak to senior students, was it before you started as a teacher? Is it what prompted you to go into teaching?
I was a student teacher by then. I had some girls. Growing up, I just love helping girls because you see, most of these girls growing up, they don't have people. Most of them don't have people they look up to. Some of them are coming from families, they don't even have anyone to look up to. You get it, especially in the rural areas. Sometimes I do it in church. After church, I can just call the young ones and I can just be asking them about their challenges as students and a whole lot. But then You asked the question whether it was because of speaking to them that boosted my interest in
because I
teaching.
was going to ask you why teaching, and teaching is I love it. It's an honorable passion. I'm like, there's so many things you could have done. So why teaching? And that's why I was curious if it's that encounter that made you want to go to teaching. So tell me how it started.
Okay. When I was in primary school, starting from primary, junior high to senior high, I was an A student. I was very good, and I'm still. Yeah. So I had a lot of advice from my teachers. Everyone was pushing me to be a doctor because
The
to
doctor.
them they thought, yes, to them they thought doctors, like if you're a brilliant student, what you are supposed to do is to become a medical doctor or an engineer. That was from my setting, that was their influence. But then I realized that even though I can do most of the jobs, I can complete my chemistry, my physics, my biology in like very well. But then they were like, you have to go and read medicine. You have to go and read medicine. So I was like, no,
You were saying this, your
that is no
teachers,
way.
right? Your teachers,
Yeah, my teachers and even my parents, especially my dad. He
parents.
was like, I should read medicine. I look good. Like if I become a doctor, wearing my lab coats, and so I was just looking at them. At some point, I felt for it, but when I went to SHS, that was when I realized my potential. Most of the teachers gave me the chance to handle some of their topics. It was through group presentation, and some of them noticed me. So sometimes I'll go to class, and the teacher will be like, "I want you to explain this concept to your colleagues." Yes. So I was doing that, and most of my colleagues were later commended, "Oh, Sally, when you explain things to us, we really, really understand it." So it got to a point, I go to school, and it's like I'm going to teach. I didn't even have time for myself to study, but I realized that as I was teaching, I was also learning as well. So I did that, and I felt like, oh, I think this is where my strength is, because if I explain concept the way I was set and explain concept to people, they will tell me, oh, they really get it. So I decided to tell my father after senior high school that I would like to go into the.
Dad, I want to get into teacher. I don't want to be a doctor.
You
How did he
see,
take
you
it?
see, in Ghana, it's unfortunate, but if you're a teacher in Ghana, the respect is not really there because one, the salary is not attractive. Salary is not
Is
attractive.
it a real thing, or is it like an assumption that people think?
It's
Think
a
that the
real
salary is
thing. It's a real thing. For the salary, it's a real thing. And I think the other one, the lack of respect is because they don't really see the value of our work. They don't see the value of our work. Some
specialist.
parents think, yeah. So when I told my dad about it, he was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you want to be a teacher?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to be a teacher." But before that, my father is also a teacher. Yeah, he lectures.
Your dad is
So
also a teacher, but he didn't want you to go into it. He knows how difficult it is.
yes, he knows, he knows. So I told him, and he asked me if I was sure about it. And I told him, yeah, I'm very sure about it. I really want to do that. And he was like, okay, that is fine. So I bought the forms. I went to the College of Education. I went to St. Joseph College of Education, the college school in Bechin. When I went to College of Education, it wasn't easy. Most of my colleagues will hear Sally is in a College of Education. They'll be like, what? Some people turned into motivational speakers and came to my DM. They were like, Sally, don't worry, everything will be fine. As if I had failed in life. They thought me going into the College of Education was like I didn't get the university of my choice, or I didn't pass my exam. I should be reading some courses like medicine, biochemistry, engineering to them. So they felt like, oh, maybe my exam didn't go well, or we don't have money. Or, yes, that is the mindset most people have when you go to the College of Education. Yes. But I could have gone to the university to study education, but you see, when you go to the College of Education, it's a professional institution solely for education. So when you come out, you are a professional. But when you go to the university, I think it is not, it is blended. So after your education degree and university degree, you have to do some education courses in addition before you can become a professional. So some felt, oh, I was a failure and a whole lot. So they were in my DMs, like, don't worry, everything will be fine. I felt like, no, I chose
As if,
that path
as if the,
myself.
it's as if it was your second choice and you needed motivation, isn't it?
Yeah. So I explained to them, as of now, some people would meet me like, Sally, you're not a doctor, you're a teacher. Why? What's happened? What's happened? I'm like, oh no. So I think it's about time Ghanaians to appreciate teaching because it is a very, very, very good job. If you have the passion for it, I feel it is very good because look at somebody who comes to school, the person cannot even write anything. The teacher will guide this child to write from letters to words to sentences to a whole passage. It is not easy. So I think Ghanaians should really, really appreciate our job. Yes. I went to St. Joseph College of Education in level 100. When I went there, thankfully, that same year, most of my lecturers identified my potential because I go to lectures, and when some of the lectures are not around, I take charge of the class. I wasn't the course rep, but then I'm not so calm. I shouldn't say calm, but I'm not so shy. Yeah, different people who have met in a class, and the lecturer wasn't in, so I just stood up. Oh, let's do some revision before the lecturer comes. I just like it. I just love doing that.
How long is the College of Education? Like, how long were you at that college?
So 4 years.
It's more practical than university, you think?
Yes, it is more practical. For the College of Education, when I went there, you see, immediately in level 100, you will start going out to the schools. We call it the field experience.
I see.
You observe the way teachers do teach. And I think during that time, I realized a whole lot. You see, what we are taught in the College of Education, when you come to the field, is totally different. Because if you don't find a teacher who has a passion to really teach, they'll just do anything for their money because now we can say that the kids are not performing. If the kids are not performing, what are you supposed to do? You have to make sure that they pick up. But in the case where the teacher is teaching for his or her money, they cannot do anything if the child is not performing. But ideally, in education, we see that no child is born down. No child is down. So if you want to teach, if you are teaching and one of the students is not performing, that means your method is not effective. So you have to change your method consistently to suit the low achievers.
So the thing that you saw, the teachers that you saw
Yeah.
once with the food experience, they were not teaching the way that you teach now, basically.
Yes, yes. And I understand them. Sometimes it is not easy. When I became a professional teacher, it's never easy because you go to school and yeah. So I observed all these things. So in my final year, I had a chance to go to one community for a year. Yeah. So that
Which
one
community?
is called Techimantia. It's also in the Hafo region. So that at the end of the program, we come back to school to write our final exam. Yeah. So it was in Teshimentia. I went and my passion for girl child education and advocate became really, really high because I saw a whole lot of that.
But
Really,
you
really
mentioned, what exactly did you see? What school? Was it a public school? Was it a private school?
I went to junior high school. It's a public school,
Mhm.
and you see, it's a small community, so you can imagine most of the parents who bring their awards there. I think Teshimeta it's a farming community. Yes,
The
they
farming.
mostly farm. So yes, so there are some days you see the students not coming to school because they have to go, especially when it rains. When it rains, you feel like, oh, we've cultivated some crops, so I have to go and check on them and hold it. So I saw all these and I saw that most of these girls come to school and it's like they are coming to school for coming sake. They don't really know what they want to do and a whole lot. So, and one other issue I encountered there was teenage pregnancy. Yes, yes, yes. So most of the girls, I think I had about 2 or 3 students who were pregnant.
Wow.
And as a
How old
yes,
were they?
uh,
Around what age?
one was around 14, the other was 15. And the other one, I never had the chance to talk to her because she stopped coming to school. So, but let's say she's around 15. Yeah. And you see, it's because I don't blame them. Yes, I don't blame them. Honestly, when you go to communities like this and you try to gather some of these problems and try to address, it's not very easy. I had some teachers coming on me because I am doing that.
You're doing what exactly?
I'm trying to advise the ladies, the girls to be very careful of themselves, abstain, and yeah, a whole lot of things are going on in our system. Some of the teachers, they are so unprofessional that when they come, they go to the community where most of the girls are underprivileged, they take advantage of them. It happens. So if you go and you voice out,
sleeping with them and all of that.
oh yeah, some do. It happens. It happens everywhere. It can happen in Cape Coast, it can happen in
So
Accra.
these
Yeah.
teenage pregnancies was the teachers that impregnated them in some
Oh,
situations. Okay.
not really. But then I began thinking that way because I felt like at a point some of the teachers were like trying to attack me. It wasn't physical though, but they were trying to be like, no, these girls don't talk to them. Like
They are
it was
bad.
a
Don't
whole
talk to
lot.
them. They are bad
So
girls. Don't talk to them, sort of thing, right? Yeah, I know.
yeah, so I passed through and there I saw some girls. They were Muslims. Yeah, they were Muslims, and one told me something. She said after school, her mother will be giving her hand in marriage. When she said that, I thought it was just a joke because you see, when you go to class and you're asking them, "Oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?" Some of them will just be saying some funny stuff. Meanwhile, they don't mean them actually. So I invited her over to my house one day and I spoke to her. I asked her about it and she was like, "Yes." The same thing happened to her elder sister, and she's now in Niger. She completed school and she has been married off to Niger. So she's also waiting for it. And so it's really touched my heart. You see, she was very happy about it. Yes, she was very, very happy about it. And I don't really know why she was happy about it, but it's because of how the parents have portrayed that action. So I told her what does she want to, I asked her whether she wants to go to the university or become any better person in the future. And she told me she wanted to become a nurse. And I was like, oh, okay. So I decided to talk to the mother and think from there. Now she's in SHS, I think she's in SHS 2, high school 2, level 2. And by the grace of God, we still keep in touch. We still keep in touch. And she wasn't married off. So from there, I felt like, oh, there is more. What if there are a lot of girls out there whom I haven't met? She was lucky to have met me. But then what about those I've not been able to meet? So when I had a chance to come to Cape Coast to teach, it was a selection I had to do myself. Yes, it was a selection I had to do
But pause
myself.
a little bit. I want suspense. I want suspense. I want suspense. Before we even
Okay.
go there, I want to know a little bit about how you see your job as a teacher. So you know how you said that the teachers that you so much were doing your education, college, they've just seen it as a job. But you, how do you see your profession as a teacher? Do you see it as a passion? Is it a calling for you?
For me, teaching is a calling and also a passion, the two. Because I felt growing up, I told you, I narrated a story how I used to explain concepts to my colleagues and a whole lot. So while I was doing that, I had no idea I would be a teacher. Yes, but while I was doing that, I started developing interest in that. And I started noticing the problems in education, and I became so passionate about them. It is so interesting to know that some of us we go and people like some of these students still remember us. I remember most of the schools I visited throughout my 4 year journey in College of Education. Some of the students still call us. I'll be there. Hello, Madam Sally. It is this girl. Sometimes I may not be able to remember them, but they call me, Madam Sally. This is so so and so. I was in JHS too when you came to this place. I wasn't even a teacher there, but you see, it is a passion. And while we try to solve the problems in education, it makes us love the job more and more. It takes only somebody who is so passionate to identify some of these, because we have people who would feel like, oh, it is not there. It's like they are not those going to change the narrative. It has been so let's continue like that. But if all teachers are going to be so considerate and look at the problems we are facing and try to solve them with their own strength and how they can go about it, I think education system in Ghana is going to blow. Because when you come to science, I teach science. in our basic schools, we don't have practical tools for teaching science. Imagine me going to science to teach the digestive system abstractly. They don't know anything about it. Going to classroom to teach simple electrical circuits abstractly. You get it. And it is so bad. I think the foundation, when the foundation is so strong, when these students are going up there, it is going to be easy for them. And you see, when you love the kids, it's about showing them love. Some of the kids, most teachers have tagged them so notorious to the extent that they don't even like to see them. But me, if I go to class, these students who don't even sit in class, they try to come. They try to come to class and sit. You get it? So I feel like we shouldn't discuss those we see as notorious, those students.
It's okay. I second what you're saying. Having a teacher who believes in you is life changing. I've experienced it. Having teachers that believe in what you have is it changes your perspective. So I know what you're doing. Like Falahia Islamic Basic School is where you teach now. So talk to me about how you even got into that school. Like, did you apply for it? Were you sent there?
All right. So after my national service, thankfully the government decided to recruit us into the education system. And fortunately for us, our batch, we had a chance to choose the region, the town, and the school we want. So I remember it was 3rd August last year, 2024. We saw the letter out and they were saying we have to choose the schools we want. So we did the application process and the day came for us to go to the portal and select out. And you see, because everybody is rushing, the schools that are available are the schools that need teachers. So if 100 people come to the site and select the schools, that means if I come, I may not see those schools they have selected again. I have to select a different school. So I woke up very early wanting to select. I wanted a school in Kumasi because I had wanted to do my master's at KUST. Either I go to UCT or KNUST. UCT is in Cape Coast and KNUST, that's the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology at Kumasi. So when I woke up, I went to the portal. I selected Ashanti region, Kumasi precisely. All the schools in Kumasi were gone. Yeah, so I decided to come to my second option, which was Cape Coast. And thankfully, when I selected the central region, I saw Cape Coast Metropolitan and I saw a lot of schools. One of the schools were a boys' school, and I saw a special school for, I think, people who have Down syndrome. Yeah, that's a special school. And I saw Falahia Islamic Junior High School. So this is how I chose the school. For the boys' school, I felt, oh, I'm a teacher. I've gone to school. I'm now a teacher. I feel like I should impact on girls because most of the times girls are at disadvantage when it comes to science and math. Most of the girls, they don't really like those topics. So I felt like, oh, let me go to a school where I can find some girls to motivate. So I didn't choose the boys' school. I saw the special school, and you see, I didn't do special education because those schools, if you are going, you should be very, very equipped. People with Down syndrome and a whole lot. And if you are not really trained to be a specialist, you may not be able to handle them. So I didn't choose that, and I saw Falahia Islamic School. So I remember that. Oh, I met a Muslim artist in
Even the
Peshiment.
school that you went to, I guess gave you the desire to teach at a similar school, I
Yes,
guess.
yes. So I felt like, oh, yeah, let's go. I selected Falahia and I came to Falahia. I was really, really excited about that because I felt like, oh, this is the chance for me to do something. And at some point too, I felt very reserved because I felt, oh, it's a Muslim school and how am I going to cope? You see, we have this notion that Muslim kids are very, very stubborn, but it's not true. Yes, I saw everything here and I feel it is not true. It's because it's not specifically for Muslim kids, but it is because of the community where they mostly grow. That is the Zongo community. That is why. So I came to Falahia and everybody accepted me in good faith and I started working. Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely want to know more about it from the little research that I've done. First of all, there's not a lot of articles about it on the internet. What can you tell me about the school and the number of students? What's your first experience?
Okay. So Falahia Islamic School in Cape Coast, we have a lot of Falahia Islamic schools in other towns and cities, but the one in Cape Coast is an Islamic institution. It is controlled by the Ghana Islamic Education Unit, and thankfully recently the Ghana Education Service collaborated with them. So it's kind of public, private. Yeah, it is owned by the Islamic Mission, but Ghana Education Service also have a hand in it. So Falahia is situated in Adizadel in Cape Coast. Adizadel community is an Islamic community. So I think that is the reason why that school was established. And according to people I already met in the school, they said the school started as an Arabic school. They used to go there for Arabic session. A lot of kids come there for the Arabic session. So why don't we change it into school? Yes, and they did that. Yeah. But unfortunately, when I went to Falaya for the first time, I was really, really disappointed because the schools I've passed throughout my educational journey, my professional journey as a teacher, the least number of people in a class will be around 30. But I came to Falahia and I found out that the population in Form 1 was around 10, Form 2 was around 12, Form 3 was around 15. So I felt very bad. I was like, oh God, what is happening? The population is so, so, so low. And when it happens like that, classroom activities, like the participation and the whole lot becomes so down for me because that was my first time handling. So it wasn't really easy. But then I consoled myself and I told myself that, you see, going to a class of 40 students and going to a class of 12 students, the method you are going to use to teach is the same method. You can't have any way of reducing your method because it is the same concept you're going to teach. So I should just console myself and do what I can do. And one thing I also realized was the students were not performing at all. We had people in Form 3 who couldn't read. We had people in Form 1 who couldn't read, people in Form 2 who couldn't read, and it was a whole lot of issues. So we had to embark on a strategy to help them.
Form 3 and Form 4 students, how old are they?
Okay, the average age in Form 1 is around 15. Then in Form 2 is around 16, Form 3, 17. Yeah, that is the average. Yeah.
17-year-old students who could not read in your class.
Oh yeah, I had all these challenges in the classroom, and it's still going on. It is still going on. But I think the problem is from the foundation. Yeah, you see, most of these parents they will not bring their work to school, and the teachers will see them roaming about in the community, and they will call them come to school. Some will also follow people to school, and they will see them. Oh, okay, you see that this kid is so interested in school. Then they will tell the parent, a uniform, and let her come. You get it. Yes, and one problem is most of the students in Falahia, they also live with relatives, not with their real parents. So I don't really want to say more treatment, but I just want to say the attention to their education is really not there. Yeah. So for the first 3 months in my teaching, I had to devise a plan. It is not so easy as of now, but then I'm doing my best to help them learn. Sometimes it gets so discouraging and you feel like no one is even applauding the work you are doing. Yes, it gets so tough, but I feel um those who will be impacted, they will really go far.
I mean, I can put me, I put myself in your place. Like you're finishing your education, then you leave. That's like your first job, I guess, right? Proper role, and you find yourself in a school that is not public funded. It's not like these other schools that have a lot of funds. Did you have time when you were like, what did I bring myself here?
I really like this person. It was very, very hard for me. And even as of now, sometimes I question myself because I feel like why did I even come there? But sometimes I think about the reason why I chose the school and I feel like no, I was brought here for a purpose. Because we mostly do inter-school quizzes, inter-school debates, and my students don't perform. You're just sitting there they can't do anything. But then I feel it's time. Yeah, we need time. I pray and I hope that for the subsequent years we can be able to help the kids very well. It is not so easy, but then I had people who encouraged me. Yes, I have people in the advocacy field who I look up to. And anytime I share some of these with, they feel like, oh, Sally, it's fine, it's fine. We even went to this place and we had a problem like this. I really believe that they will pick up, just that it is a matter of time. And it's not going to be me alone, it has to be a team work. So, if I think some teachers are there who are also willing to support them. So I think when we all give in our best, we are going to help them become better.
You know what? I'm thinking back of when I was a student, like in primary school. I did from 0 to 13. I had my education in France before going to the UK. And when I think about science, because you said you're a science and maths teacher, when I think about science, I think about the tools. It's very hard for me to dissociate the class from the tools that we use because literally that's what we're doing. And so I'm thinking, you as a science and maths teacher, do you have the tools that you need to teach the way that we need to teach? What are some of the difficulties that you find?
Okay, I it is not so easy for a science teacher in Ghana. You see, especially in my school, it is not so easy because we don't have anything to support the teaching and learning of science aside you, the teacher, improvising. So sometimes I use songs. If I am teaching them the elements, I have to use a song to help them remember. So for the 20 elements, I taught them a song from hydrogen to calcium. And anytime I ask them for the atomic number or the electron number, they will have to sing the song and they will come up with the answer. And sometimes too, I draw. Yeah, I draw on a cardboard paper and I show it to them. Sometimes I give it to them in groups to go and draw themselves and come. So it is all about improvisation, yes, because we don't have the actual tools here. So that is what we do. One of their issues, they don't have textbooks. You see, most of the textbooks, they have these kind of diagrams in them. At least if you don't have the experiment, you can just look through these diagrams and just get them. But this is the case, they don't really have them. Most of them don't have. So we just do the improvisation, we get them. I think there was a time I was teaching the transfer of heat, that is conduction, radiation, and convection. Yeah, so I had to group them into three, ask each of the groups to bring some of these items to school so that we all do it together. I try to make it so relatable to them. So that is what we mostly do. But I really, really wish the government would look up and try to build science blocks or science laboratories for the basic schools because I think it is very, very good. Going to SHS without knowing anything about a microscope, they've not seen some before, and it is very bad. It happened to me right from junior high school. I
So
never
it's
knew
not
what
even
a
a problem
microscope
of
was.
the private school and what you're teaching. It's a general problem. It's a
It's a general problem, but I think if each school is having a science lab, now I think the government has done well that most of the schools they have computing labs where they have computers
yeah.
and yes, but for science it is not like that. So I think as we are moving, as we are advancing as a country, the government should look into that so that we the science teachers can also help the kids practically because teaching science abstractly is so boring. Yeah.
And one thing that you said in the beginning that stood out for me is you saying that a lot of the students did not know how to read, and I'm talking about 17, 16-year-old students. And, I looked it up and I know that, Islam does not prohibit education. And a lot of it could be just the culture and the traditions that make some families be against education.
Yeah, it is not only from the kids. Most of the parents, they don't really know what they want for their kids. I had an encounter with one of the girls. She doesn't do her homework. She comes to school and she'll be copying. So I asked her, why? What do you do in the house? Why don't you do your homework in the house? Why don't you read? Why are you performing so poorly? And she told me that anytime she goes home and she takes her books, the parents will be like, why are you in the university? Especially her mom. Why are you in the university? Why are you studying like somebody in the university? So you can see what goes on in our homes. It's like somebody in Ghana, they will say, in Chi, they will say, we in Shedimu. You just want people to know that you are learning. It is very bad. So I feel most of the parents don't encourage their kids to learn, and also the words, they use words that really really demoralize them. Because if you tell your kids, Wabong, she can't learn, she can't do anything. One parent told me that the child, she tried to put her into a trade, like learning a trade. She couldn't do it. Now in school, she can't do it. Like she can't do anything. I felt very bad. I told the woman that no, you see, you are confusing the child. You feel that at this level she is not doing well. We have a lot of students who don't pick up at this level, but when they go to SHS, they really pick up. It's just a matter of encouraging them.
You're a bit like a counselor, isn't it? Because when the parents are saying this, you also counsel the parents and tell them it's not that.
Oh yeah,
Your counselor,
yes, it is part of our job.
a mentor. You know what? In everything that you've said, there's also good news. I saw that 2 months ago. That's even before I got to know you. I got to see your profile. You solicited funds. You published something on a post on LinkedIn. Needing funds for textbooks in the school, especially for girls, I believe. And then a month later, you published another post that was like very, very positive. You thanking your people who donated. Tell me about that project.
Okay, so when I came to Falaya, as I mentioned earlier, it wasn't so easy. Most of the students, they don't have textbooks, and when they go home, because they don't have textbooks, they won't learn. So before I came to Falahia, I had joined this organization that is in Besiafo tribe.
So Imbesiafo is a word in Fanti, which means girls. Yes, I had the opportunity to join this group in 2023. Imbesiafo is basically an organization that helps young women in rural communities to achieve their dreams. And they have this fellowship that helps young women like me who really want to give impact, but they don't really know how to go about it. It is a 1 year program. So at the end of your program, you're supposed to do a capstone project. And that project is something you are so passionate about, and they will guide you through it so that you'll be able to do that. So thankfully, at the time I was planning for the capstone project, I was in Panania. So prior to this project, I had this interview session with most of the students. The girls, yeah, that's my target audience, and the prominent response I had was the lack of textbooks. So I decided to tackle that issue. So when I made the flyer for the fundraising, I'm so thankful for the people around
A lot
me.
of people donated, right?
Yes, I was so surprised. Some doctors in the UK and a whole lot of people were coming into my DM. I've seen that you are doing this for the girls. Send me account number. I want to do this. They never knew me, but then I felt like we have a lot of people who are willing to support. So I gathered the funds, and thankfully I was able to buy the 16 books in full.
That's amazing. That's amazing. A lot more needs to be done, but that's like a beginning, isn't it? Because like the school that you teach at, yeah, you said it's public but also private, but it's running because of the community, right? From what I read, but I'm not sure. It's the Muslim community that actually puts money in there to run the school, isn't it?
Yes.
Schools like this needs a lot of support, needs a lot of, especially from a science like teacher's point of view, when you need equipment, you need tools, and you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. As a segue to the next point, the profession of teacher in Ghana is a bit underrated. Because I'm saying slightly because I'm trying to be polite, but I have heard so many stories of people interesting to go into teaching, but then being discouraged And you explained in the beginning why that must be the case. And even a few weeks ago, I'm sure you heard a lot of teachers protested in front of the Ghana Education Service headquarters in Accra because of delayed salaries. Some of them, most of them are newly recruited teachers that have been working for the past almost 10 months and haven't been paid 10 months. There was even a teacher who was on the floor crying and saying, 10 months of work and I still haven't paid. Not only that, I haven't received my ID. How do you feel seeing all of this?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, the government of Ghana, they are not really helping. Even though I wouldn't say the teaching job is always bad, but then how the government is handling issues
Handling it, yeah.
is very bad. Those people who went to protest, they are my colleagues. We were all recruited the same time. But you see, I was very fortunate. I don't know, it's here we call it luck. We had a lot of people with us. Some are in my staff. Yes, we work
Really?
with them and they still not have their, because they can't even have any reason for that. It's like they just selected and they paid and the rest are just to suffer. It is very, very bad. It is very, very bad. And looking at the salary as teachers we take and looking at the economy in Ghana, it is very hard. Currently, I am doing my master's in the University of Cape Coast in science education. And you see, you have to be paying your fees, you have to be doing a whole lot of stuff. And it is so overwhelming. So some of us, we just have to support it with some small business so that we can be able to, yeah. So I feel like the government is really, really, really not being fair to teachers, honestly. There's,
Especially with the work that you do. With
yeah,
the work that you do. Because I
what?
even looked it up a little bit and I saw that teachers in Ghana, the average salary is 2,500 thousand in Ghana cedis, and that's the average. And that's the average, and that's like for public school. So I'm thinking you who works at a private school, it must be less than that. And as a woman, being a woman is expensive. I'm not even talking about hair. Even if you don't like fashion, it's expensive. My
It's
girls will
expensive.
know what I'm talking about. So how do you deal with it? Like, do you actually like agree with what I read in terms of like earning 2.5K, or is that too much that even that one I don't even earn that much? What's your view on it? It's
All
too
right, so I'm in a public private institution, but then the government recruited me, so I'm paid by the government.
okay.
And yeah, for me, I have my first degree, and my rank is principal superintendent. So they pay teachers according to their ranks. And the rank I am, I think I'm taking a little over 3K, a little over
That's
3K,
a lot.
and my rent is too much. It is not so easy, and some of us we are teachers, but we still do things. We hustle, yeah, because in Ghana these days, it is not so easy. I also have some small business I support myself with, and I also do some extra classes for some of the students
To
that
top
are
up.
little parents who are well to do and they want me to come to their houses and be teaching their kids. But so it's not easy doing your masters, doing all these side jobs and being a professional teacher. It's not easy. But this year I've told myself that I'll just do what I can, because last year I felt it, because I don't really have. I don't want to say I'm not strong, but then I'm not so used to overworking. But situations are making me do that. Yeah. So I feel this year I told myself that, oh no, if I work and I feel I'm tired, I have to, because I need myself to. A lot of people need me to also help them.
And even you're at a, I would even say that you're at a privileged spot in regards to you being able to do your masters, because there are
Yes.
people who are stuck in a place where they don't have the education and they are stuck in their situation. So at least you're young, you're doing your masters. I'm sure in the future we'll talk a bit about your goals, but you do more things. And I think it's important to tell people that teachers are paid according to their rank. So obviously lecturers are paid a bit more than the basic
Basics.
teachers, but it's still not a lot. But they paid a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
No, definitely something needs to be done about it. So aside all of the things that we discussed, what is the best part of your job that keeps you going despite the low salary, the way some people look at teachers? What keeps you going?
What
Yeah.
really, really gives me joy in my job is when I give kids a task and they are able to do it and I sit to mark. I really, really find joy in that. I don't really know why, but mostly most of my teachers will tell me anytime I mark and these kids perform, I go to class with an incentive. Either I'll buy them sweets and yes, because I feel like they've really, really told me that whatever I taught them, they've understood. And looking at me, I'm somebody, I will not ask you what is energy. No, I won't do that. But I will just ask you in an applicable way. You come to your house, there is no light, and immediately and you switch on the lights, the bulb, there is light in your room. What is, you get it?
I
So when
want to
I,
be your student because you make it so interesting. I love science now. I didn't even like science when I was young. Oh gosh, you guys should hire Sally because she's so good. She makes it so interesting. Anyway, sorry, I can't.
yeah, so when you do that, it really makes the lesson interesting. And when the child is answering some of these questions, you see that the child is coming out with his or her own idea about the concept you have taught. So anytime I'm marking and I feel like these kids are responding very positively, I become very happy and I really take joy in that. But at the end of the lesson, and you have been able to achieve your objectives, you feel like, oh, you've done a great job. Yes, so
Yes.
I really take much joy in that aspect. That is the only way I feel I'm making impacts with the
Yeah.
feedback I get from the kids. Yes. And one thing also is the students have been tagged in a way that they don't like learning.
Tagged in a way that what?
They don't like learning. So when
Uh,
a teacher comes to their class, it's like they don't really like it. They want to do their own thing. But I don't know if it is only me, but one thing I've observed is when a particular class don't have any lesson, they will just come, Madam Sally, there is no teacher in our class. Come and teach us. I feel like, oh,
oh,
they love me. Yes, because I feel most of the students, when it is time for some subjects, they don't even go to call their teachers.
mm-hmm.
Yes,
They just skip.
yes, they just wanted to skip. But I've really observed that, especially when it is time for mathematics, they'll be like, Madam Sally, there is no teacher in our class. There
Oh,
is this teacher didn't come, so come and teach us. You get it? So sometimes I feel like, hey, wow, then I'm really doing something for these kids to like my subject like that. So one thing I will just say is growing up, me when I was in JHS, I didn't really have the chance to love mathematics because the teacher who was teaching me mathematics was very, very aggressive with us. Yeah, he
yeah.
was using the mental method, five times five. If you don't say
And
it,
there was
you
the
can't.
caning as well, isn't it? Maybe back then it
Yes,
was still going
yes,
on.
yes. So it wasn't so interesting for me. I really liked our science teacher then in JHS, and I picked up in the science. But when I went to SHS, I felt like no, if I want to really do science, do the chemistry, do the physics, do the biology, I really need my mathematics. So I sat down and I picked up from there.
I love
So I
this.
like as a teacher, when you go to class and you are teaching, you don't have to be so stern on your kids to the students to the extent that they will be so much afraid of you anytime they see you. No, some people believe that some kids will learn in that way, but the kids that are coming these days,
They
they
run on social media. My teacher did this, and then you get in trouble.
yes. So you really have to have time for them and try to guide them. You don't have to be so lenient on them, but at least you have to be harsh when you are supposed to be harsh, and you
Yeah.
have to be friendly when you are supposed to be friendly.
Yeah. You know what I like is that corporal punishment was banned, isn't it? In the
Yeah,
English band. That makes me happy. I mean, if teachers are actually following it, that makes me happy.
but you see, one consequence we have with the banning of the corporal punishment is no, I know corporal punishment is not good, but you see, the Ghanaian mentality is like the child wants to be punished before he or she does the right thing. So most of the teachers are complaining these days that we don't care the students, they are not learning, they are not doing this, they are not doing that. But one day I made a reference to them and I was like, when you go to the UK, when you go to the US, they don't use canes on these canes. But you see, we have a lot of notorious cases there, but the same teachers are handling them. So how do you think they are able to do that? So it is not only the corporal punishments and stuff. When you teach them, you use positive reinforcement. Yeah, when it is a bad behavior they've done, at least it shouldn't be a punishment that will inflict so much pain. You
Right.
get it? Yes.
And you know
No,
what I think, Sally? I think that there should be more training, teaching. Like, of course, you go through training, but more training in terms of how to
yes.
deal with the students
Yes, very, very
because
true. We
it's
have
hard.
something the in-service training. We have in-service training. But you see, it is very sad that most teachers feel like when they are attending in-service training, they are wasting their time. We mostly have a lot of training sessions where teachers are supposed to skip school and go and be trained. It could, sometimes it is 3 days workshop, sometimes it is a 1 day workshop. But most teachers feel like they are wasting their time.
I see.
And it is very sad because when you hear some of the comments coming from these teachers, what am I going there to do? We are just wasting our time. So I feel like if we begin to appreciate that the world is changing, the
Yeah.
world is changing. The method of teaching you learned in 1990 is not the same thing you are supposed to use in 2025. You get it? So we have to also upgrade ourselves as teachers. We have some teachers who completed school in 1990, 1999, 2005, and they're still in the field and they don't want to upgrade themselves. Meanwhile, the world is also changing. So I feel teachers have to appreciate the impact of in-service training so that as we move along, we can also be picking up with the changes that is happening around us.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love what you're saying. Yeah, another thing that I want to talk about before we almost wrap up is, one thing that I've noticed nowadays is that there are so many Ghanaians living abroad who are coming back to Ghana to build. But on the other side, there are also Ghanaians living in Ghana who still think that abroad is the greener pastures. What is your take on that? If you had the opportunity to go abroad, would you go or would you stay in Ghana because you love it?
All right. So after
You were like this. Why?
I want to narrate a story. After my first degree, I'm really, really planning on doing my master's outside the country. I was really passionate about that. I applied to a lot of schools. I'll get admission. Immediately applied. Oh, sorry, your resume is good. Your essay, your SOP is this and that. But then we don't have funding to support you. And it was very sad for me. I completed school in 2022 and
Mhm.
I started my application. Immediately I completed, I started application to go to the US, the UK, and the UK is so expensive, so I dropped along. But for the US, I applied, and the feedback is like that. You see, sometimes as I'm here, I'm in Ghana. You see, unless people really get in touch with me to know the good plans I have, I feel like Ghanaians are not really appreciating what we are doing. So all this while, I feel like why don't I get the chance to leave the country, go to a place to um, do your master. Let's say you get a nice school to do your masters. For me, that is my take. I feel like if I get a chance to go outside the country to really help myself gain a lot of experience, get a lot of money because Ghana there's no money here. I can even form a foundation where I can support most of these girls. I can do that in Ghana, but it is not going to be so easy. I tell you, it's not going to be so easy. So I've been applying for QTS and a whole lot to have the license to come and teach in the UK, just to know to form some connection and a whole lot so that I can be able to help some of these. And as I was trying and the masters wasn't going through and a whole lot, I felt like okay, it is not my time. So I started doing my masters in the University of Cape Coast and do. So I feel like those who want to come and establish it is a good choice. Yes, because they know what they want. They are those who left the country to go and gain experience, make some money, and come back and impact. So I feel it depends on the motive. Some people just want to go and work and work and work. Yes, it is fine because that is what is motivating them to go. And some also want to go gain the right experience so that they can come back and be who they really want to be.
Do you allow me to be a little bit biased now? So I'm not gonna lie. When you said that, I was like, oh no. Like, what about these kids? But then when you say I'll come back, I'm like, okay, she said she will continue to work with all of the exposure that she learned. So it made me feel better. Wow, thank you so much for your honesty, Sally. I appreciate it so much. And maybe the one of the final questions that I have is, what is your goal for the next 5 years? It's perfect. It kind of goes with what we've spoken before. But what is your goal for the next like 5 years? What are you hoping to do? I know are you doing your masters, but in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, like what impact do you want to have?
Okay, so with my goals, currently I'm doing science education as my master's. And along the line, I've developed an interest in higher education and student affairs because I felt like most of these issues we have in our schools, they
Mhm.
go way beyond the content teachers are teaching in classroom. If
When
I
you
should have
say
this,
issues, can you just be a bit more specific? Like, do
all
you
right,
mean the lack of tools, the curriculum?
yes, the curriculum, we have a lot of issues in our educational system.
Mhm.
And sometimes we limit the addressing of these issues like lack of textbooks, um, the students' inability to read, their inability to understand scientific concepts, their inability to learn mathematics, and a whole lot. We center it on the teachers. We feel like, oh, the teachers are not doing their best. They have to do this. Teachers have to do this. They bring it on the teacher. Teachers have to do
Mm.
that. But I feel like it goes beyond the classroom. Addressing some of these problems really goes beyond the classroom, and it is really, really concerned with the system we have,
The
the
system.
educational system we have. So, in the next 5 years after my master's, I feel I want to go into higher education and student affairs, where we can learn about. I will learn about a whole lot of issues concerning the school when
The
it
school
comes to the
system.
school. It's a holistic system, the cultural aspect, the gender aspect, the social aspect, and the whole lot. That is what I really want to go into. Then probably I'll do my PhD. Yes, and
Amen.
yes, so that is it.
Yeah.
And I really want to be part of the policy making process about education. Yes.
Right.
So that is what I'm working towards in the next 5 years. And I really hope God will help me to do
He
that.
would definitely work for you. That's great. And one thing that I didn't mention as well is the fact that you're actually a Christian as well, and working at the whole kind of not difficulties, but the challenge of working at a Muslim school when you're a Christian, fitting in and not being religious in that aspect must have been difficult as well. But you're able to kind of bridge the gap so wonderfully. And so it makes so much sense when you say that, in the future, you definitely want to talk about the cultural aspect. You're a perfect example of a Christian who has been able to enter the Islamic school and the students love you. So you have the experience, you have the proof, you have everything to make sense to a lot of people. So thank you so much. What are your final words, Sally, that you have for the people who are watching and how they can support you, support the school? How can they connect with you and all of that?
All right. So, my final words to everyone out there is as you are growing up, you are growing in your career, even if you're already in your career, I feel if you're passionate about something, don't really let the influence from outside, the influence from government, the influence from peers really discourage you because I feel if you tell yourself that you are doing a good thing and nobody is even recognizing, eventually it will pay off. Yes. And you should also know that whatever you do with your heart, whatever you do to help people, it is not wasted. It is not wasted. It will eventually come back to you one day and you are going to be happy. And even if people don't see it, God has seen it. God bless us in so many ways. If I teach kids, I have time for kids and a whole lot, you don't really know in which ways God is blessing you. You get it? You may not feel the impact immediately, but then I feel to tell anybody that whatever you are doing, you have to put much effort in it and do it. It is not easy. Yes, it is not easy, especially for Ghanaian teacher. It is not easy. But if you do your best, you are imparting knowledge, and definitely one day, you'll be appreciated. Yes, and also one thing I also want to put across is
Yeah.
see kids, them children. Children are people, like they are learning. They are learning. You just take them as people who don't really have the experience. You don't have to be tired about their upbringing. You don't have to be tired about teaching them. You don't have to be tired about the number of times you introduce a concept to them and they don't really get it. You have to look at the thing as a process. And eventually, one day it's going to come, they are going to get it.
Maybe one bonus question that I have, Sally, is do you think that teachers who are not passionate should be teachers?
I don't
Because you know
think
how some people are doing it for the job.
yes, easily because they want the money. Yes. So I feel ideally if I had the power, I would have like given them different jobs to do because I feel like they will be destroying the system we are trying to build. Yes. Because how can a teacher come to class and just tell the kid, you're so dull, you can't do anything? You see, you would demoralize the kid. So I feel people who are so passionate about the teaching should do it. And sometimes, you see, it is not always about passion. Sometimes we find our passion in what we are doing. Yes.
Later.
So, yes. So I feel if everybody should give in his or her best, yes, and along the line they can find their passion in it. Because I don't feel somebody will be so inhuman that a human being becomes like will not be his or her passion. You get it? So I
Yeah.
feel we can do our best. The word is do our best. When we
Mm.
do our best, we can really find our passion in that. You get
Yeah.
it? Yes.
That's good.
So,
Where can people find you? You didn't say that.
all
That's
right.
amazing. You speak about so many things, but then promoting yourself is last. That shows someone who is selfless, isn't it?
All right, so I'm on LinkedIn as Sally Frimpong. I think you put it out for them.
I will
And I'm
definitely
on
put that.
Facebook, the same Sally Frimpong. In the Instagram, I'm also on Instagram as Sally Bell HR. Yes. So you can reach out to me on any of these platforms.
Okay.
And if you're
Thank you.
in Ghana, I'm in Cape Coast, at the Saddle to be precise. Yes.
What did you
All right.
say?
I said if you're in Ghana and you want to see me, I'm
Oh,
currently in Cape
yes.
Coast at the
Um,
Saddle community. Yeah. And
um,
Falaiya Islamic School, precisely. If
yes,
you
yes.
want to
Link up, link up. Thank you so much, Sally, for the time. I appreciate it so much. And let's say bye to the viewers now. Bye, viewers. I hope you enjoy the series. As always, you can follow my guests on their various social networks, and everything is listed in the description. So if you want to follow Sally, if you want to connect with her, everything is listed in the description box. If you're new to this series, you have some catching up to do because this is the fourth interview. Okay, so you've missed three, and I've been so lucky and blessed to have guests who are as candid as Sally is in this episode. So please catch up and see you next week as well for the final interview. Tell me if you enjoyed this episode and don't miss next week's appointment. Bye.
The exposure that I had at Google actually drove in me the desire to want to pursue either computer science or computer engineering, not biomedical engineering. So I wanted to go on either because I mean, it's a tech company, and from my research, I found out that if anything, you can explore the field of computer engineering or computer science so that you find yourself in building software products and all that. You can do other aspects, but that's what I wanted to